Renting out an apartment or single-family home is still a task for many landlords, despite there being many significant technological advancements for advertising vacancies and processing applications. The reason being is because now 59% of rental applications are being submitted online as opposed to in person. So this makes it much easier for the applicant to commit fraud, which in turn causes many headaches for landlords. So in this episode from American Landlord, we discuss a recent rental housing industry fraud study, as well as the steps landlords can take to avoid being scammed. The study we are referring to was commissioned by the consumer credit bureau, TransUnion. And here are some sobering statistics to begin. From 2016 to 2018, the majority of property management companies experienced one form or another of fraud, like a 97% majority. And 80% of those had it happen to them multiple times, some with more than a dozen occurrences. In 2020, during the coronavirus pandemic, 15% of rental applications were fraudulent in some capacity. And about half of the participants in the study, actually 41% to be precise, did not discover the fraud until after the applicant had moved in. So some may wonder, what's the big deal? Well, this particular study revealed the following lasting negative impacts for landlords. There's a 59% increased risk of reputational damage, a 51% increased risk of evictions, a 35% increased risk of financial damages, and a 32% increased risk of higher vacancies. Now, exactly what type of fraud was revealed in this study? There are 4 different types. The first is rental application fraud. This type refers to the simple lies such as exaggerated income, job titles, and so on. And then there's the more sophisticated synthetic fraud. This is becoming more popular. It involves creating a whole new fake identity by creating a social security number, credit file, and even a driver's license. We won't go into detail, but it's not as difficult as one may think. And then there's first-party fraud. This is a step above completing a rental application with false information by the applicant providing false documentation, like pay stubs and offers of employment. And the fourth type is the old-fashioned way of committing a crime. It's known as third-party fraud. This is when an applicant uses the identity of another, usually by stealing their information from a trash can, mailbox, or more sophisticated online phishing. So how does a landlord protect against fraud? First, no applicant should be granted tenancy until the following has been achieved. Every adult occupant should have to show government-issued photo identification and their Social Security card. Not photocopies, but the actual identification. Why? This is so there's no ambiguity about the authenticity of the documents. Receiving electronic images via email is not sufficient and can easily be manipulated in photo editing software. It's always best to physically handle them front and back and ensure the correct fraud deterrents are visible, like holographic images. Also, every adult occupant should be subjected to a comprehensive background check, including consumer credit file information that is verified by proper identity verification. The service we are affiliated with is realserious.com. They will authenticate each applicant and run them through a very sophisticated fraud detection platform powered by the credit bureau, TransUnion. You can visit realserious.com to learn more about their services, which are available to all residential landlords, big or small. And finally, don't discount the need for references. Personal and professional references are another step in validating an applicant, as long as you validate their personal and professional references. So don't hesitate to ask each reference for their address so you can then perform a public record search, like with a county tax assessor, to determine if the information corresponds to the recorded property owner. Social media and Google can also be very useful tools. You just have to be careful not to be duped by inactive or new accounts. It's important to give each applicant a fair chance. Just be sure you don't pass up on your chance to vet them fairly. For more information on being an American landlord, please like and subscribe.